When it comes to Pokemon games, it is not a new thing to debate back and forth between, is this game good? Is this game bad? Do I hate it? Do I love it? Why is this tree so ugly looking? But one of the Pokemon games that I believe gets some of the most criticism and debate about it would be the Pokemon Let's Go games. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were a product of their time, coming off the heels of Pokemon Go, and a game that kind of had a lot of influence from Pokemon Go. This game was yet another remake of the Kanto region from Generation 1, which already had some people upset that we got a third remake for the Kanto region, but that in itself isn't the only issue. Many Pokemon fans criticized this game for not having a lot of Pokemon staples that you think about, such as Pokemon breeding, the GTS, and just the ability to battle wild Pokemon. But as always, there are two sides to every coin, and this game also introduced a lot of super fun things that you could also like about this series that were completely fresh at the time that we had never seen in a game before. I mean, this game brought back Pokemon following you outside of their Pokeballs, overworld shinies were introduced, there was even a co-op player mode that was super fun. As a fan of the Let's Go series myself, I wanted to make this video today to have a conversation and to have the debate about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I'm going to be presenting my thoughts and opinions on these games, but I would love to see all of your thoughts and opinions on the Pokemon Let's Go games down in the comment section below. Also, let me know if you agree with any of the positive aspects of the game that I talk about in today's video. But before we go ahead and dive right on into the Kanto region for the 47th time, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button to make sure you subscribe to the channel to see all the new content of mine, and who knows, maybe if you subscribe you'll see a Pikachu or Eevee popping through your TV screen one day. I mean, who knows? There's definitely no evidence that it couldn't happen. I'm not going to try and convince everybody that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are some of the best games in the franchise. I'm definitely not going to do that, but I would like to present some of the positives that I do like about the game because there are no shortage of videos out there pointing out its negatives. First off, we have to talk visuals. We have to talk graphics. This game is gorgeous. This game is beautiful. I would say arguably this is one of the best looking Pokemon Switch titles we have ever gotten. I mean, the art style for this game is just so light and fun and colorful. It just really suits the Pokemon franchise to a T. When I first was getting and playing this game on the Nintendo Switch, I definitely thought that it was easily one of the best visual gaming experiences for the Pokemon series, at least, I have ever had. I loved seeing all this updated character artwork, I loved seeing all these new Pokemon sprites, and I just loved seeing these towns that I've grown to know and love ever since I was a child, that I remember from my childhood, in this new updated graphic that just looks really, really bright and fun. I know that graphics is a touchy subject for the Pokemon series. I know a lot of people haven't forgotten about that tree from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Trust and believe, the meme still exists. I think in terms of the Let's Go games, no one was expecting it to be perfect graphically. No one was expecting what they expected for, like, Scarlet and Violet. No one was expecting what they expected for Sword and Shield. Because I think a lot of us just established in our mind that this was not going to be as important as those, unfortunately. And that is no tea, no shade to Pokemon Let's Go. I just think genuinely a lot of people held this game to a different expectation than they did in the mainline series games. Even though Let's Go is kind of a part of that. I think these games are stunning, and I think if we are purely just talking about visuals, I would love to see another game made in this art style again. Moving on to my next point, which is nostalgia. Now, of course, nostalgia is going to be an attribute of any Pokemon remake because a lot of us who have played the original games that these remakes come from know that there are a lot of things that we love about the original that we're interested to see how they're going to be adapted to the new game. For Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I think it was a fresh, exciting way to experience the Kanto region and Generation 1 that I didn't feel the same that I felt in Fire Red and Leaf Green. Now, do not get me wrong, do not get me confused. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green are some of my favorites in the entire series. Pokemon Leaf Green is actually the first Pokemon game that I ever played, so it will always hold a special place in my heart, and I will forever have love for that game. But Pokemon Let's Go just felt different. And that's not even a bad thing. Pokemon Let's Go introduced a lot of new features to the Kanto region that it didn't have before. I mean, you had access to Mega Evolutions, there was Ride Pokemon that you could have outside of your Pokeballs. There were even these new exciting cutscenes featured in the game that featured your main character emoting and reacting, which is something that we hadn't been able to see in a lot of other Pokemon games up to this point. It also kept that feeling of bonding and partnership that you had from Pokemon Yellow, and introducing it in this game in a new fun way of having so many little scenes with your Pikachu and Eevee that show you building this friendship and showing that you're having a fun time together, and they're just really really cute. I feel a close connection to my partner Pokemon in this game, and I think a lot of that has to do with these added little moments that we hadn't had in a game before. And then for the ride Pokemon, I mean, come on, isn't it everybody's dream to fly through the air on a Charizard or ride across the sea on a Lapras? I mean, this is just so much freaking fun, and I wish more Pokemon games had things like this. Oh my god, and like, how could I forget riding on the belly of a Snorlax? I mean, come on now, like, that's just a dream of mine. Look at this freaking cutie, you wouldn't want to ride on his belly too? And since I touched upon it a little bit here with a new fresh way to experience the Kanto region, let me go ahead and dive in with a full conversation about the return of Mega Evolution. Now, Mega Evolution for Generation 6 and Generation 7 had been there, so it wasn't necessarily something new at the time to feature Mega Evolution, but it was really interesting having it there in Generation 1, something that felt so kind of in its way for every entry that we've had in the series so far, and introducing something so new to it like Mega Evolution just really was a lot of fun. I mean, it's no secret that they give a lot of love to Generation 1 Pokemon, so there is a lot of Generation 1 Pokemon Mega Evolutions that you can choose from to use on your team. I also just always love seeing the updated graphics and animations for all of these Mega Evolutions and Pokemon once they Mega Evolve. I think that that is always fun to see how it changes from game to game. Like, when I saw Mega Pidgeot in this game as compared to the other games where it was introduced, I felt different about it just because the way that it was kind of shown to me. Like, I don't know, Mega Pidgeot kind of hit me a little harder in this one. And maybe that's me talking crazy talk. Do y'all feel that way about any specific Pokemon where a certain sprite or a certain animation of it makes you feel differently about it than in another game? Maybe I'm crazy. Next up, I want to talk about something that is important to me as a shiny hunter, which may not be important to everybody, but I did feel the need to include it in this video because it is something that I know that a portion of the Pokemon fanbase does care about. For my fellow shiny hunters out there, I know that it was a really fun game to shiny hunt in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee because they kind of introduced a new way of doing it that really kind of made it easy to do, catching in the catching streaks, and then being able to find a shiny in the overworld. I mean, overworld shinies, I feel like they should just always be a thing. I don't know why we don't do overworld shinies all the time. Why do we not keep them? Because they're just so freaking nice to be able to see it in the overworld instead of just hoping and praying that it's one when you get into battle with it. I am looking at you, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Also, bring back the shiny sound from Legends Arceus. Please bring it back. I love it so much. I miss it. Oh my god. The joy and happiness that I would feel. That's besides the point. We're talking about Let's Go. I would say I've only been an official shiny hunter since Generation 7. That's around when I started shiny hunting Pokemon officially and going out of my way to do it. So Pokemon Let's Go was one of my first opportunities to do official shiny hunting, and still to this day it's one of my favorite games to shiny hunt in. I think the catching streaks is a fun, exciting, and new way to do it, and it's easy until it's not. And of course the overworld shinies just make it so much better and so much more worth it in a game that you can actually have your Pokemon follow you outside of the Pokeball, so you actually get more visuals of this shiny Pokemon. Next up is a subject that I know some Pokemon Go players will want me to talk about, but I myself, as someone who doesn't really play Pokemon Go, I don't really have a lot to say about it. And I know, it's this egregious thing that Dominic doesn't play Pokemon Go. Y'all, it is like the one Pokemon thing that I do not play. I just never could get into it. Pokemon Go was never really my thing. I don't know. Did any of y'all understand that feeling of like, it just wasn't really for me? But if you are a Pokemon Go person, I bet that this game was really exciting for you because you get to transfer over all the Pokemon from that, and there is a use for them inside the game. There also is the Go exclusive Pokemon such as Meltan and Melmetal, and because I don't do Pokemon Go, I still have never obtained a Melmetal. Like, is that crazy that I've never had a Melmetal purely because I don't want to play Pokemon Go? Like, isn't that kind of insane? So this whole video talking about how I do actually kind of genuinely enjoy Pokemon Let's Go is coming from someone who doesn't play Pokemon Go. That being a big aspect of this game is not even really influencing my decision and how I feel about it, which is kind of crazy to say given how large of an aspect it plays in the game. I also think that in terms of remakes, I think that Pokemon Let's Go does a fantastic job in terms of updating the artwork for its characters. I mean, seeing the new outfits and the new looks for all of these trainers and characters that I've only ever seen so many sprites of, it was really exciting to see what they were going to look like. I think that Let's Go and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire both do an incredible job of updating their character designs for these remakes. Maybe one day I'll make a video about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I don't know. Whenever I talk about the game, I kind of just want to make a video talking about how good of a remake it actually is. Like, truly, I don't think we've seen a remake like it. Let me know if y'all would ever be interested in a video like that. So I guess now that we've gone through all those points, now we should talk about will there be a future of the Let's Go series? I mean, it's kind of become a joke and a meme at this point that we expect a Generation 2 Let's Go Togepi, Let's Go Wooper, Let's Go Meryl. I've seen so many different versions of Generation 2 Let's Go at this point that have all been memed out. We talk about it every single time we get a Pokemon Direct, but will we ever actually get one? I'm not sure at this current moment if Pokemon is very interested in making another Let's Go game. I think that it would be something that maybe down the line, if they ever thought about revisiting the series, but I genuinely think that because it was so tied to Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Go was so huge at the time that the game came out, I think that definitely influenced their choice to make the games. But I think in the future for the Let's Go series to kind of resurface and come up again with a Generation 2 or any kind of Pokemon Let's Go game in the future, I think that we would need to see Pokemon Go itself kind of have a renaissance and a resurface. Not that Pokemon Go still isn't huge. People definitely absolutely still play Pokemon Go. I mean, I've seen people walking down the streets to this day of New York City playing Pokemon Go. So people do still play the game, I just don't think that the hype and the excitement is as there as when Pokemon Let's Go came out. So do I think that there will be another Pokemon Let's Go in the future? Meh. I don't know. And that's coming from a fan of the series. Would I like to see a Generation 2 one? Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. I love Generation 2, and personally, Generation 2 is one of my favorites, so I would love to see it get the Let's Go treatment and get the updated graphics and character art and for it to look as amazing as it did. I genuinely just don't know if the Pokemon Company is interested in doing so, but I mean, if anybody from the Pokemon Company is watching this video, you at least got one person here that would be interested in a Gen 2 Let's Go game. But if I had to answer right now if I think a Pokemon Let's Go game is coming anytime soon, I guess the answer would be no for now. But to wrap up this video in some closing statements today, I really do actually genuinely enjoy the Let's Go series. I think there are a lot of things to like about it. Yes, I do see the concerns. I mean, the way that you catch Pokemon with the use of the motion controls of the Joy-Con and not really having a battle system other than trainers, I know a lot of people didn't really enjoy that, and I think that that definitely was a turnoff for a lot of people with this series. Also, I think that it having so many ties to Pokemon Go, a game that not everyone plays, and also Generation 1, I mean Generation 1 had already gotten a remake at this point, so maybe some people were just done with Generation 1. I definitely see the concerns of why some people may not enjoy that series, and if it's not for you, then hey, I mean not every Pokemon game is going to be for everybody. I just really wanted to make a fun little video today where I talk about some things that I like about the game, and I'm definitely open to having the debate about it, so definitely let me know down in the comment section below what are some things that you like and dislike about the Pokemon Let's Go series. Would you like to see another one? Would you be interested in seeing Generation 2? Would you want to see possibly another generation? Would you want to see any kind of thing from a Let's Go game? I am all ears. I would love to hear anything that y'all would have to say about it. As always, thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see y'all in the next video. Maybe I should pick Pokemon Go back up. It'll give me an excuse to go outside.